Hi, everyone. I'm sitting here today with Venesha Angus. We are here talking about women in real estate and just what it kind of does for our lives and how we even got here in the first place. Because I know what I can see now is everybody's kind of interested in understanding what real estate's all about, whether you're on the buyer side or the realtor side. And we're here to just give you some, uncut chatter about how it is for us in this industry.
Give the tea.
Yeah. So, Venesha, why don't you, I said I wasn't going to do questions and all that, but why don't you tell us what a day in your life is like as a realtor?
Oh, child. Well, I won't use today because today I ain't do nothing. But overall, usually my day, I have a son as well, so I do have a toddler. My day's pretty hectic on average. I do a lot of my lead sourcing through calls. So that's a big thing throughout my day is to do calls. But overall, a day is getting up, going to the gym. I have to take that time for myself just to put myself in a good mental state in order to help my clients.
Right.
After the gym, I tend to do my calls, which can be between 1 to 3 hours. Emails, if I do have to go do showings, I'll usually do those in the evening. And usually my day doesn't end until about like 9 or 10 o'clock. And that's just taking care of my son, wrapping up a few other things.
Yeah.
Because with real estate, and no one ever tells you this, yes, you control your schedule, but you don't control your schedule.
You really don't.
It really
I don't
comes
know
down
where
to
that
whenever
comes
you're
from.
literally like it comes down to whenever your clients no longer need you.
And your deadlines.
And your deadline.
All these other things that you need to keep up with,
100%.
to stay on top of your stuff.
Yeah.
So
my day could be literally from like 5 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
or later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. I know that your reality is totally different from mine. I don't have the child aspect to it, but I am pretty busy. I do have a lot of things on the go. So like my day today is, I live life spontaneously as much as it's very scheduled.
Yeah.
So, I get very, very busy. My day can start off because I still work a 9 to 5. I'm out there hustling with that job. Then I have to make sure that everything in my real estate world is, up to date and staying on top of the marketing, staying on top of, networking with your peers and, other events and stuff that I do. So it can get pretty hectic. Would I trade it for anything else? No, because I don't know how to sit still.
Yeah.
And I love the unpredictability of industry.
You're different than me.
I love it.
I literally was like, am I having a heart attack right now or is this anxiety? Like,
No,
what
it's
is
just
happening?
the business.
And I think that's another thing that people, let me tell you this, if you are used to making money every 2 weeks, real estate is not for you.
No, it's not.
Real estate is not for you. Like when you have to walk by faith, real estate is walk by faith. There is no,
Trust yourself.
you have to trust yourself.
Yeah.
God, whoever you believe, you got to trust something because that's one thing I got very excited. Like the whole, I don't know what it is, but there's like 7 steps or 5 steps or something. And the first one's like excitement, and then you hit that pit, and then you just like, am I coming out of this pit?
Yeah.
My excitement when I first started, my first 6 months, ain't nobody touched me on the calls. I was doing like 300 calls a week or more. Ain't nobody touched me on the calls, on the appointments, none of that.
Yeah.
When those 6 months passed and I said, I haven't seen a dime,
That's what it is.
I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go get a job.
Yeah, of course. And I think a lot of people should understand that. Like, real estate is great. You can make good money and you can make a very good living, but there's so much legwork that goes into it before you start collecting all that reward. And sometimes that looks like 2 or 3 years. It depends.
100%.
It really does depend. And like you said, you have to kind of, walk by faith because like at any given time, that one person you called a year ago might call you and that's when everything starts going.
100%.
So it's like, you have to be willing to put in the work. And if you're not, it's just not the industry for you. It really is not. It's never going to be.
But I think that's just with business in general. Like, yes, this is a little bit different because there's so many other factors that control and dictate if you'll make money, and that's the market, pricing, whatever else is going on within society. Like all of those things do play a role in it as well. While other businesses, if you have a product and you market your product properly, you could still do well. Yeah. Well, this one, there's a lot of outside factors that you have to consider. So with real estate, I feel like there's also that mental toughness that you have to have because if you're doing calls like me, and you haven't seen a dime hit your account in 6 months, and someone tells you no for like the 1,000th time, some people will just break and they're like, this is it.
This is so mean. This is
Literally,
not for me.
you know. And then there's people like me that you hang up on me, I'm gonna call you back and say, oh my God, did you hang up on me?
Or you're different than I am. Once you hang up on me, I'm never talking to you.
No, I will call you back and be like, I think our call got disconnected.
Oh, there you go.
So are you still looking or not? Like,
Yeah.
I'm, you know, and I think,
like, be for real.
yeah. And that's another thing that no one talks about. I feel
Right.
like a lot of people talk about the positive of real estate, and yeah, you can make crazy money in real estate, like more money that you make in any job.
Right.
But it's also, you have to be able to go through the ups and downs
Right.
of real estate
Right.
in order to see the fruits of your labor.
And that's what I've started to learn. You know, I do have mentors in this industry that has helped, you know, kind of train me in understanding like what there is to expect. And boy, like when I first thought about real estate way back in my high school years, I always knew I wanted to be in real estate. I just didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But I used to think it was like, you know, what they show you on the movies, or
Yeah.
you go to the office, you know, you have your nice little suit on, you have your briefcase, you put it on the desk, and you're like, okay, I have to answer all these clients. And like people are walking through the door saying, oh, you know, I'm looking for a house. You know, I thought it was that simple.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. Everybody that comes to you are people that you have worked, or they're coming to you because they've seen your work. You know, referrals. You know, people that you know, people that you don't know that know you because of somebody else. And that's when I started to understand. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of work. And if you're not willing to do that, or if you're not strong enough mentally to feel like this can be something that you can do, because I feel like everybody can do it if they just put their mind to it, then yeah, you can struggle in this industry, especially as a minority.
Yeah.
You know, we have to kind of strategize a little bit differently at times, but I feel like I'm in the good place.
Yeah.
I'm in a very, very good place. And I think the longer I'm in here trying to build my brand, the more fun I'm having, and the more I'm seeing, okay, there is a light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
No, I agree. And I think, like you were saying, not everyone can do it. I think it also depends on how long you're willing to struggle
That's
for.
the part,
Because, you know, you have to know what your cap is.
Yeah.
If you're like, okay, if I don't see anything within a year, I gotta do, like, you have to know what that is for you, because in real estate, it could be a long time. Like, I know people that are like, oh, I haven't seen a deal. I didn't get my first deal until a year later.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, that's freaking crazy. I could never do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I had my cutoff. And it's like, okay, if I don't see something during this time, I might have to get a
hate those
part-time job, or
Well,
I might have
okay.
to get something.
As long as
just
you're not
to
giving
sustain-
up.
No,
Yes.
no. But again, everyone's different, right?
Everyone's different, yeah.
Some people are like, okay, I've invested $30,000 in this and haven't seen anything back. That might be your time to give up, because if you're not going to change what's
Exactly.
causing you not to make money, and you're going to keep it the same, give up.
Yeah. And
Give
learn
up.
that,
Like-
you know, sometimes it's okay to just walk away.
Exactly.
And admit that this is not for you.
100%.
Absolutely.
And a really good book to read is The Dip, because it tells you when to give up.
Okay,
And that's like
interesting.
one thing I've learned, and that's something I struggled with before, is I would give up on businesses because I was like, oh, I'm not seeing the results I wanted to, or it's too hard. But it's like, okay, I never like maneuvered, I never positioned myself differently to see if it was my product, if it was me, if it was just that time of the year, or whatever the case is. But with real estate, I feel like it's the same thing, where, you know, if something's not working and you've done it for a certain amount of time, your two options is either, and if you're not willing to position yourself differently or try different things, then at that point, yes, it's time for you to give up, because clearly what you're doing isn't working.
And you're just
if
going
you're
to
not
be wasting money. And so
time, energy,
and that plays so much more on your mental health too,
100%.
right? And your self-esteem and all that stuff. It all goes hand in hand. And what I'd like to understand too is just, how is it that you are staying so motivated?
me?
Yeah, because I feel like I see you, I'm watching you, I'm like, okay, this girl has energy. Like, I need to be like Venesha. Like, she's out there, she's doing the work. But for me, sometimes I find it very hard to self-motivate myself, because, well, I have a lot going on, and it's like by the time you're finished everything throughout your day and now it's time to focus on your own business, you're just so mentally drained. So
Yeah.
it's like, I have videos in my phone that need to be posted. You know what
Oh,
I
girl,
mean?
me
Type of
too.
thing.
I have videos from like last year, and I'm like, is it too late?
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
My hair looks different. I lost
the
weight
same.
since then.
I struggle with that too, but it's like, who's really caring?
No,
right?
100%. But motivation. So this is gonna sound crazy, but I don't believe in motivation.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in discipline.
There you go.
And so I used to play rugby, and when I played rugby, we were playing at a higher level, and motivation did not take you far. You would get cut from that team real quick if you didn't have a day of motivation. And it was really just the discipline that kept me going. And I think that's just something that I've had for so long that that's what I base it off of. I'm also really competitive. So if someone's doing better than me, I'm like, oh no, baby. This is your last
better than that.
being on top of me. Like,
Yeah.
So I think those two things for me is just the discipline and then the competitiveness of real estate and wanting to be like number one day.
And you are already number one. You know that, right?
Oh, girl, no.
Yes, we are. We're already number one.
In the name of Jesus, yeah. But right now,
I don't know. I'm number one.
I don't know what number I am with real estate, but I know I ain't in that top.
Number one. Don't worry, we're already number one. We're just, reaching different levels of it. So yes, and I believe that.
Another thing I would say is, honestly, my son, like, before having a kid, it's like, if things didn't go well, I'll just move with my mom, or I'll just go here, I'll do this, I'll do that. But now it's like, I don't want to give him that life. Like, I love my family. Shout out to my family. But like, I don't want to have to depend on my family. So it's like, when I look back and I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have a deal coming up in the next 2 months. Okay, I gotta grind harder. I gotta get back into whatever to push myself to do that, because I just want to make sure that I have everything that I need, and I could really say I did that. Like, I did that on my own. And there's no shame with getting help. Like, help is great, and you should know when to get help. But I think one big thing I pride myself on is I've always done a lot on my own, and I want to keep it that way.
Okay.
Of course with God. Yeah. But
with all good things are done with God.
Amen. So, but I think that's my other big thing that keeps me disciplined is my son as well.
So I like that. I like that you said that, because a lot of people that have children, you kind of base everything that they do in life are centered around them, because those are your dependents, right? Like, you're trying to make them see a good example, and you're working hard for that purpose. But sometimes it's the opposite. I don't have that. I don't have that family aspect of where a child is depending on me. So when you say, you've done everything on your own and all those kind of things, it's similar to me as well, because like, I don't have anything to fall back on. Even if I wanted to, right? Yeah. I've been living on my own since I was 19. Not kind of by choice, but it was something that had to be done. Yeah. And when I look back now at this big age of mine, which I won't say, it's like, all I want to do is just go back home and just kind of start over again. But I just don't have that option. So it's like, for me, that is my motivation. Well, discipline. That is my discipline, is like, if I don't make it for myself, there is nobody to make it for me. Yeah. And so I think that's also a good way to understand, like, when it doesn't have to be about real estate, but if you're doing something that that you believe in, figure out your reason why. 100%. Go in and 100%. Go, and like you said, know when to stop.
Exactly.
It's not working.
Exactly. And I think everyone's drive is different, right? Like, some people, they're driven by materialistic things. Some people hustle hard so they can buy the next purse. Some people hustle hard so they can.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, 100% not. Like, some people hustle hard for their kids. Some people hustle hard because they don't want to go backwards. Like, everyone has what drives them, and you just need to know what pushes that, and for me, I've even told myself, like, if real estate don't work out, I'd rather sell everything I got, baby, to be able to keep my place and do like that. But that's just me, because like I said, I want to provide that life for my kid, so you just got to keep your foot on the gas. If you don't want to go back, you just got to put that thing in drive and keep your foot on the gas.
That's how I felt. Like, 2024 was an interesting year. I was like motivated and not motivated. I was like, I'm tired. Like, I'm trying to rest. But then, these bills are coming out. These fees are coming out. And by the way, with real estate, there's a lot of fees.
A lot of
fees.
So a lot.
Once you get your license, it doesn't just stop there. There's money to keep that license active. There's options to keep your license active by parking it, and then but then you can't trade in real estate, so it doesn't make sense. But anyways, 2025, I said enough. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care what you look like. Just do what you told yourself you will do, because I believe in that aspect of working hard and consistency, and just giving it your all. And that's how I feel about life too. It's like, don't live with any regrets. If you do something and you fail, guess what? You can try again.
100%.
And and you can try again differently. You know what I mean? And the beauty about failure is you know now how to succeed, and you just keep trying.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
There's nothing wrong with failure. Honestly, failure is just, it brings you one step closer because you now realize another mistake that you're not going to make again. And you're not going to make again. If you continue to make that same mistake, you got a problem.
And what kind of person are you if you continue to win? Like sometimes winning is losing. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's better to try and fail than not to try at all.
No, 100%.
And yeah, that's what I felt like 2025 is going to be for me. So that's why I looked at the calendar. I was like, booking the studio session. Venesha, my first guest. Let's go. And I'm not stopping there.
Yeah.
So,
but honestly, though, it's, 2024 was a year, okay? I feel like that year that year no longer exists.
I don't even know what happened to it. Where did it go?
I don't know. And we're already end of January, first off. But
January 72nd.
Yeah. Like
this has been the longest month ever.
I know.
Yeah.
And honestly, long but short. Like I feel like I didn't do enough, but I feel like I did a lot.
Right.
But I'm like, I could have did more.
Yeah,
in my January, you know?
But I feel like we've done, I think, not knowing everything that you've done, from what I see, I feel like you're such a go-getter. I feel like you've done just enough.
You know what? I don't think I posted on like social media once this year yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like,
coming.
I think for me, I'm trying to take a step back from the things that don't fulfill me and the things that don't make me money right now.
Okay. Yeah.
And I like social media.
You're good at it.
For the giggles of it.
You are good at it.
But I'm not consistent with social media. So it's hard for me to be disciplined in something that I don't find joy in, I guess, you know, or I don't see anything coming from it for myself. But it is something that I'm trying to get into. Yeah, okay. So that's like my goal for 2025. I feel like social
media is a long game.
How long is long though? Like, gosh, dang.
For me, the most important thing about social media is putting out content that people actually want to watch.
And that's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
For me, I like my comedic aspect to anything that I do. So I'm like trying to utilize that in like, how do I make real estate interesting? If I'm going to be doing like a lot more social media, I don't want to put out stats.
Yeah.
I don't want to put out numbers. I will, but like I have to make it fun. You know what I mean? I make it a little bit more interesting for the folks to watch.
So let me ask you this. And the reason why I ask is because I've seen it like on social media before. I've seen both, you know, I've seen the stats and I'm like, cool, don't care.
Right.
But then I've also seen the realtors that just become funny and that I no longer look at them as a realtor. So like, how are you gonna avoid like putting yourself in that category?
Well, I don't think you need to be like a Kevin Hart in this thing.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. The point is to get the message across to your audience or to whoever is trying to learn.
Yeah.
But in a way where it's not like boring. You know what I mean? So I feel like, there should be a little bit of a fine line between the comedy aspect, but you need to do it in a way or master it in a way where people are be like, oh my God, you know, this girl said something the other day, but they're not really thinking that you said it in a funny way. They're just knowing that there's information that they retain.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I know what you mean.
You know what I mean,
some
though?
People, I'm like,
I know, like they're just hopping on the trends, and I'm like, what is happening?
Like, can you really sell my house?
Yeah, literally. But I love those videos. Like I find them funny.
They're funny.
But I'm like, if I were selling a house and someone did that to my house, I'd be mad. Like, what am I giving you this percentage for?
That's where I draw the line. I'm not going to be doing skits and jumping jacks in somebody else's listing. That's crazy to me. That's insane. Yeah. Like, that's a lot. But no, what I meant is just like if you see like a funny little 1-2 liner, you know, you can incorporate that into your daily like, you know, content. It doesn't have to be when you're showing a house. Yeah. I think there needs to be a level of respect.
Okay. And you know what? I feel like everyone's different. Like the people that are more that like funny Kevin Hart, that do all that crazy stuff in the homes, I feel like they attract those clients that are probably like that too, where they're like, this is so funny, do it. You know what I mean?
You don't take life seriously, neither do I.
Let's get this house sold, you know? Right. So
there's a client for everybody.
100%. That's what I was going to say. There's clients for everybody. And I think for me, I'm a little bit more reserved when it comes, like, I'll be funny, and I think I'm a pretty funny person, but like when it comes down to work, I definitely downplay that a lot because it's like, one, we live in a government city.
Ottawa.
Ain't nobody funny, you know? So it's like, tired. You have to, everybody's tired. Everybody don't work.
Like, these prices are high.
People can't afford eggs.
The 417 only has 3 lanes.
Only 3 lanes that are always backed up.
Oh my God.
Our train never works. So I get why people are always always angry or just always like straight face. Yeah. So I try to bring like a sense of like peace and happiness
and realness
without it being too much for them to be like, yo, get out of my face, you're annoying me.
Well,
you know?
And that's the thing. I don't want to be one of those realtor content creators that are just annoying. You know, the same stance, the same two-liner, this and that. I want it to be more real, more engaging in a way where, I can relate to that person. Oh, look, she's a mom. She has a son just like me. She's out here getting it. Or, you know, she's a business owner. You know what I mean? Those are the things I want to relate to. And I want to relate to, you know, women, men, anybody that can just find me interesting enough to say, okay, well, let me give you a chance. Let me see what you can do for me and my business or whatever. So that's what I think, you know, not just real estate, just life, you know. I feel like it's about knowing how to connect with people that are for you and for your audience and all that stuff. So
no, I agree. And then, so I love how I'm asking the question like this is like my
no, we're taking turns. Hey, I'm like, this is my impromptu session. I said, Venesha, I don't have no idea what I'm doing. Let's just sit down. Let's just talk.
Because I'm like, I got another question for her. I got another question for her. But
it'll help me build more questions.
So my question is, as a Black woman, you know, how has real estate been for you?
Well, I've been in real estate since I was 25. Not aging myself, but I've been in this industry for a while, and I kind of got introduced in the commercial world.
Okay.
And kind of focused my career on leasing. So I did commercial leasing for a very, very long time. But there were aspects of the job when I was there where I felt because of who I am, I'm not being heard. I'm not really being seen. Yeah. People give me that respect, but it's never going to, it's like, it's never going to be, you know what I mean? It's never going to be where I know it can be. Yeah. And I think for a long time I was content with it, but then I got frustrated, you know, very, very frustrated. Met some good people that kind of took me out of that mental I guess I'm going to say mental jail, because I could have done that job until I was like in my 50s. Yeah. And then I kind of saw my potential in going into residential real estate. And I could say that, like, I don't know, it's interesting. Being a Black woman in this industry is very interesting. And I don't feel like a lot of people that are not living in our shoes will ever get it. You know what I mean? Like, if you throw me a client, I have to vet them. I have to look at them. Okay, well, they like me. Where are they gonna care if I'm Black? You know, those are the things that I feel like I think about a lot as a Black woman. But I don't let that stop me. I 100%. Push through. I say, hey, you like me or you don't. 100%. It is what it is. And then I show people that doesn't matter. I'm a woman, Black, young, I know my stuff, and I'm here to learn. If I don't know, I will find the answer for you. You know? No, I agree. But it is a challenge. Yeah. No, I will for you. I've experienced it too. I feel like when I've had every job that you can think of, like I've worked in the car industry, insurance, everything, sales, like I've done everything. And I think this is the first time in any industry I've been in that I've actually looked at the fact that I'm a Black woman. Oh, interesting. Which is, to me, is crazy. Like, no other job I've had have I ever been like, are they gonna like me? Are they going to look at me differently? And I think it's the things that, you know, that happen in society that make me feel that way. But two, I guess I looked at it as, this is such a huge investment. Would they trust someone like me with this investment? Yeah. And yeah, it was definitely something that when I first started, I had to overcome. I've literally have had people in the past hearing me over the phone, I guess, have a certain perception. And then when they see me, like, I've literally had a guy be like, you're Black. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, we're here now, so too late.
What we gonna do, you know?
You're locked in.
Literally, but I've had that, and I've seen it too, where people like, they'll make a face, they're like, oh, I was not putting the voice to the look, you know? Yeah. So I've had to just get comfortable with that, like you, and like you said, you know, just you're either gonna like me or you don't like me. At the end of the day, I know what I bring to the table. I know what I can do. I know what I can't do, and what I can't do, I'll get someone else that can help me do it. Exactly. But now I'm learning how to have that confidence in myself and that certainty in myself. And if you don't like me, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And
refer me to your friend when they need
you know
it.
what I mean? If you have another black friend, let me know.
Literally. So, but yeah.
I do feel that that intensity sometimes, but you know, like at this big age, and I'm going to keep saying big age, it's a big age. I just don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I am who I am.
Yeah.
I come how I come. You know, judge me how you want to judge me. I'm still going out and doing what I got to do despite what they want to call limitations. You know what I mean? And I think that if anyone is feeling that way in any industry, you just got to say, who cares? And come as yourself and be who you are. And if whoever likes you will flock. You know what I mean? And then everybody else can do what they got to do, but that has nothing to do with you.
No, facts. And I honestly, now I kind of look at it in a positive way because like when I do a good job where people talk about me and people are always like, oh, you know that black girl? And because there's not many of us in the industry, it's like, oh, who, this girl? So it's like in a sense, we kind of stand out. I mean, as long as we're doing a good job.
Like standing out.
As long as I look good, I'll stand out. If I don't look good, I'm just put me in the back.
I don't want to stand out for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. For the right reasons, I like to stand out. And I feel like for that aspect of it, I like it because we're kind of like in our own circle, like our own little bubble or category or whatever the case is, where there's not many people of color in the industry.
No. Not in Ottawa anyway.
Not in Ottawa. Yeah, not in Ottawa. So that alone, if you do a good job, people are going to remember you.
Yeah.
You know, and I try to make an emphasis on keeping in touch with like all my clients, whether it's hanging out with them. Like one of my clients, that's my homegirl. Like she'll be like, want to go have a glass of wine? I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. Like, that's my girl, you know? And so I make a effort to connect with all my clients even after the sale is done, because at the end of the day, it's like I'm more big on building relationships than just transactions. And because of that, I feel like they're always going to remember me.
Exactly.
And that's what I want.
And that's what I meant to say by being yourself. Because at the end of the day, your true authentic self will attract the ones that really, really want to see you for who you are and stick with you and like, you know, don't judge you based on any kind of limitation that the society wants to put on us. And my very first client was a client that I did at an open house, like, you know, out in Orleans in 2022 or 2023, I can't remember. But she literally dumped her agent after like their agreement was done. She said, you made such a good impression on me that I want you to help me buy a house.
I love that.
So we closed a deal in 2020. Why am I getting the years mixed up?
Because we're in like a time warp now. I don't care what anybody says since 2020.
Like, what is going on? It was 2024.
I don't remember any of my years.
2024, I closed my first buying deal. My buyer deal. I closed my first buyer deal. And, you know, to this day, she still emails me. But it was just that one client that made me feel like seen and didn't judge me on anything. She knew I was very new and I'm trying to like learn how to do all of the maneuvering and stuff. But she just gave me that chance, and that gave me the confidence to be like, yeah, that's right. This is who I am. You know,
I'm that girl. Jenny on the block.
And I like what you said too about having to work in a way where you're being remembered. And I feel like the minority aspect that we have and the advantage, the positiveness is, since we're such a small group, regardless, we do stand out, but people would, like, in our own respective communities. Like I know like my Nigerian community, a little bit of the Jamaican community, they flock to you because they feel comfortable enough to say, okay, well, I feel seen, I feel heard. Can you help me? You know what I mean? And I'm starting to see that a lot. And so for that reason, I love the position that I'm in. You know, because I want people to look at me and say, okay, I can relate to her. How can she help me?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. I think I was actually talking to, I have a family member in the States, and they made a really good point with just being remembered. And, you know, we live, again, in a place where, like, when people say they dressed up, they ain't really, like, dressed up in comparison to what we're used to, like, within the, like, Nigerian, Jamaican, all that community. When we say we're dressed up, we're dressed up. You know, we're dressed up. So being here and dressed up is, like, you know, I remember I was having a talk with my family member, and he even mentioned, he's like, you need to be, like, on 10 all the time. And I was
all
like,
the time.
why do I gotta be on 10?
Yeah.
And they get to wear jeans and some dress shoes and a t-shirt. And he's like, exactly. And he's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I know, you know, what everything that happens in the States is a little bit different than here, but he's like, you're going to be judged so much more, and you have to give them, or you can't give them a reason to judge you. So he's like, you always got to be put together. You
have to work a little bit harder.
We have to work harder.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, us doing that, we're building ourselves up to be better, just real estate agents, people in general, because we understand the work that needs to be put into it. We also understand the downfalls and stuff. And being women on top of that, we have so many more downfalls that will never be looked at as the same as, you know, men or whatever the case is. Yeah. So it's like, because we understand that struggle, we've learned to maneuver around that struggle a lot more, where we could put ourselves in and out of positions to better succeed. Exactly. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons that I've learned being in real estate, where it's, I can't do what everybody else does. I can't act the way everyone else acts. I can't do that because people are going to look at me differently. Exactly. And it sucks. I do feel that. But it's the truth, you know? But because of it, I think it has made me become a lot more tough mentally. It's also allowed me to understand, okay, if I do want to succeed, these are things that I need to put in place from now, even though I might not be seeing the deals I want to see. But if I do this from now, when that time does come, I'm not scrambling to get this stuff together. Exactly. I'm there. Yeah. I'm ready. Yeah. So
I always say I like to stay ready so I don't got to get ready.
Exactly.
And I will say 2023 was my bummiest year.
Yeah. Mine was 2024. I'm not going to lie to you.
The way I left the house should be studied. It was not okay. Sometimes I look back at my memories, I'm like, what was I going through? Like, it was just like, wow, I've never thought that I would like be that person where I wouldn't put on a full face of makeup. Yeah. Go out, you know, but hey, things change, things happen, and you're just kind of regrowing through whatever you're going through. And, you know, but when my sister and I talked a little bit later last year, and one thing I took from that conversation is that sometimes you just got to show up ready, you know, like 100%. You got to look your A game. 100%. Even if you're feeling depressed. Yep. Get up, put on some nice clothes, do your hair, put on some nice perfume. Yep. It'll change your entire world. Yeah. You know, so and that's the kind of attitude I like to carry now. And like 2024 was like, oh, it was getting better. I was like buying new clothes again. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this jacket. I remember those clothes. Move out the way. Like, all my jogging, like I had so much jogging wear. I don't even jog. You know, so I'm like, no, I need to find my old self again. Yeah. And I think 2024 helped me kind of like rebuild that confidence. And like now I'm back. I'm like, I can't believe I used to leave the house like that. No, I feel you. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how serious people will take you as seriously as you're presenting yourself. 100%. So if you're looking down, sorry. Yeah, if you look chaka then no, 100%. I always tell my friends, you can't have all three struggles. You can't be depressed, broke, and ugly. I tell my friends that all the time. I would rather be depressed and like glamorous than like look like what I'm going through. Oh, I will never look like what I'm going through. And that's what I tell people all the time. Like even before coming here, I was having the same talk, and I said, let me get myself put together, blah, 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 whatever. And then I was like, there's things I believe in. And one thing is, I can't be depressed, broke, and ugly at the same time. No, I can't have all three struggles. The max I can have is 2 of them struggles. At least. So if I'm depressed and broke, I better look good to be able to make money. Please. If I look bad, I better have enough money to hold me over until I need to look good again. And I can't have all the struggles. Is that behind that look, like say you're down, there's somebody out there hoping that you will stay there. Yeah. So that just sounds like, oh hell no. Bad mind. Come right back. That's one thing too. No one, and I tell this, the only way you'll ever know that I'm going through stuff is if I tell you myself. You will never know. Yeah. And I can say this now because I'm through it, so I don't care anymore. But 2023. I just started real estate. Okay, yeah. My son was a year and a half. Baby.
me and my ex broke up. I had no money to my name, literally in a job that you can't make money until you sell something.
Girl.
I was in the most depressive. When I say depressive, I was like, Lord, how are my bills going to be paid?
Yeah.
God, just give me enough money to buy food for myself and my child. Keep this roof over my head. Like, I didn't even care about looking good. Whatever I had is what it had to be.
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to put gas in my car. Like, it was bad. It was bad. And ain't nobody knew what I went through until I told them.
Okay.
I would be at this office every day doing like 80 calls in a day or 100 calls. And I'm like, I can't leave here until I hit my 2 appointments. I can't leave here until I hit this. People would see me. I'd be laughing, joking, whatever. I'd go home and cry after. But you ain't, I promise you, in case you're my enemy, you are never going to see me in a situation. And there's been times I've sat in that office and I've bawled my eyes out. And if I hear someone coming, I'm like, oh my God, hey, how are you? How's life? You will never see me in that position.
Right.
But because of that, people weren't scared to work with me because they're not looking at me like, oh, she's going through things, let me leave her alone. Because you never know what opportunities are right around the corner. And I'd be dang if I'm finna miss an opportunity because of what I'm going through that I know I'm gonna get through.
Right.
But
no, and
I always keep myself together.
You have to, and that's the thing. Like, life doesn't get easier. Sorry to break it to you.
It
guys.
doesn't.
It really
you just unlock a new level.
You just unlock a new level of, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing for anyone to learn, and it ties into everything that you do, is just you have to learn how to work through those emotions.
100%.
Trust me, I've come a long way.
I'm so working on it.
Learning those emotions, because everything is so intense when you're feeling them, and but like what I tell myself now is that it's all temporary. You just have to get through it. Don't ignore it. Don't put it on the sideline. Don't say you're fine, because you're not fine. Admit to yourself that you're not fine, but understand that you will be okay. And those days the better days are coming. You just have to get through it. And once you're through it, it's like, what the that was easy. I'm good. You know what I mean? But every level, there's a new devil, is what they say. No,
100%. And so, I always tell people, you have to be able to fight the stuff in the dark.
Yeah.
And able to be able to shine in the light.
Exactly.
Like, you have to be your light in the dark.
Exactly.
And one thing I tell myself now is, if it don't break me, that's just going to be a part of my success story.
Nothing should ever break you.
That's it. Like, I mean, some people, unfortunately, they do get to a point where it does happen.
Yeah.
And, that's okay. Whatever that moment was for them.
Just don't stay there.
But exactly. Yeah. If you let yourself stay in that position, then yes, that's going to be your future. But I've gone through stuff. I still go through stuff where I'm like, oh shoot, this might take me out. Like this might be the one. My chest starts tightening up, and I'm like, God, this is it. I'm really going out like this, literally. And I'm like, God, don't take me now, please.
It's like, this is how it ends.
Like, literally, where I'm like, do I need to go to a psych ward? Yeah. I'm not thinking straight. But I look at it now and I'm like, once I get through this is just going to be a part of my success story. Like, when I come to tell my success story, this is just going to be another part of it, where I'm like, oh, almost lost my mind, almost lost my house, almost lost my car,
all
this,
the
that.
People you can help
100%.
with that knowledge,
100%.
That you've been, that you will see go through similar situations. Yep. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what I've already adopted in life. It's like, I try to make it a point where if I see somebody going through something that I've already gone through, I know how to be there for them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I try my best to be there at my own capacity, because there's still a lot of things that I don't know how to maneuver through. But I think the most important thing, I guess, is just to understand who you are, work through your pain, but do not let it stop you from being where you need to be in this life. And like you said, nobody's seeing me. Yeah. Nobody should ever see you down. Yeah. And it's just about perseverance. It's just, going through life the best way we can, because, hey, we only got one life. We're not coming back. We cannot do it over. So might as well do it in a way that makes you happy. Yeah. And that translates to every aspect of your life, But
no, I agree.
Anyways, well, I'm very excited that we've got to sit down and talk. I think we've been speaking about this for years. Yeah, kind of linking up in some way. And I don't even remember the year I met you. That was what, 2019, 2020?
It was my birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday.
Yeah, so that would have been, was it my birthday?
Well,
Yeah.
I went to your place, I think, for the first time.
So it was my birthday.
Yeah.
So that would have been, I think it was like right before COVID hit.
Okay.
It was literally
Okay.
a month before COVID
That's
hit.
insane. How
Yeah.
much time goes by?
What? That was crazy. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was when we met through Jacoba.
Jacoba,
Yeah. So I don't know what birthday that was for me. That was a blur.
Yeah.
But it was
Remember
my
that night.
Yeah, it was my birthday. That was a lit night though.
Yeah, it was lit. I don't remember it. I just know we were somewhere downtown.
We were somewhere downtown, back of my
Yeah.
house, ate food.
Yeah, that's
Like,
it.
yeah.
I remember that. And,
Yeah.
But it's just nice to see like the growth in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That has gone on, and you know, I'm sure you've seen how I've transitioned in over the years. You know, and I feel that you know we need to, as two Black women in the industry, and there's so much more of us, but we need to learn how to kind of like coexist, help each other, and you know, do more things like this.
Yeah.
And just have the best 2025.
100%.
2025 is our year.
100%. And it's not a competition.
It's never a competition.
And I think that's it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a competition. Like,
Yeah.
I anyone should feel comfortable going to somebody else and
Yeah.
getting that advice
Yeah.
because you can always learn something from
That's it,
anyone. Like,
yeah.
I always told myself, if I ever do a commercial deal, I'm coming straight to you.
Yeah. Oh,
girl, what the heck?
hey.
I'm not even gonna try to act like I know what I'm doing. I don't.
Well,
I'm just gonna be
I'm a little rusty. It's been a long time,
Yeah.
but like I'm still working towards getting back into commercial because I'm just a commercial girl. I look at commercial spaces all the time for fun, which is extremely boring for the majority of people.
that is.
But yeah, it is because it's not very interesting.
No.
But it's fascinating how you can see a space in like its empty form.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow it's like, it looks like a space like this. It's like, wow. I don't know. I love the beauty and the build up. So,
Yeah.
but yes, I'm trying to get back into commercial real estate a little bit more. I'm not sure if I want to do landlord rep or tenant rep. I don't know.
What were you doing before?
Landlord rep.
How did you like it?
I loved it. It was easier.
Yeah. Okay. So
It was
tenants,
easier.
I guess tenant would be
'cause
harder.
I don't know actually, but I felt like I like getting the calls
Okay.
rather than me making the calls, you know, so much. But either way, I think the challenge for myself is just to step outside of my comfort zone,
Yeah.
get reacquainted with the commercial world while building myself in the residential. And just making more connections, going out. I'm always going to be outside this year.
I know, but you
I'm always
just, you
outside.
stay outside.
Why am
like,
I saying like
I
I've
know.
never been
I was like
outside?
I'll be like, oh, when did you meet this client? Oh, I was at a party, and I'm like, that could never
I'm
be.
telling you.
I'm the
Yeah.
most standoffish person when you see
Yeah.
me outside. Like people usually don't talk to me.
I'm outside in places where I shouldn't be. I should be at home. I should be at home.
But it works for you.
But it works. And I'm
works for
giving
you.
out my business card.
Yeah,
This
see?
is what I do. And it's working for me. And it's like, you know what? If this brings me joy and I
Exactly.
get to network, I'm outside.
Yeah, see, ooh.
But trust me, I'm tired, eh?
I can't be outside. I don't.
There's times where people call me, what's the plan? The plan is my bed.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving this house. And winter is usually a time where I recoup. But
Yeah.
summertime, I can't help myself. I'm outside.
Really?
I
I'm like, y'all can come over. I ain't leaving my house.
I'm
Like,
waiting for the day that happens to me.
Yeah, you know what it is, and I've just learned this. I never knew this before. I didn't know when people said introvert. I thought introvert just meant like you're shy, you don't know how to talk to people. Supposedly introvert just means that you could be a great social person,
Yeah.
but you just don't recharge around people.
That's right.
I don't recharge around people.
So I'm an introverted extrovert, meaning like I can be sitting in this room, you'll be in this room. I'm not gonna want to talk to you. I'm too shy.
Okay,
But like put a little.
You're
What?
shy.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
Breaking news, everyone.
Yeah, I
breaking
did
news.
not. That's news to me.
I am shy. I can be pretty shy, but once I feel comfortable around you, I will not shut up.
See, okay, I'm like that too, but you're more the type that you'll go into crowds. Like even,
But it's a lot
the
of
first time,
force.
me meeting you at my party, you were just like, hey, blah blah blah, and I was
Force.
like,
Liquid courage.
who is this woman?
Liquid courage.
Like she just came in here like she's been
It's
here
because
before.
I'm surrounded by people that I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
So it gives me that
Yeah.
sense of, hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if it was just me and you in that house,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey.
So then, what do you do when you go out?
Honestly, it's forced. I've mastered how to force myself to talk to people
need to
when
do
I'm
that.
not comfortable. And usually when I go to like, industry events
Yeah.
where it's more of like trade shows and stuff, I don't want to do it, but I know I'm there. I cannot waste my time. I cannot waste my money. So I'll just start talking. And sometimes I know what I'm saying doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking.
So let me ask you this, for people like me that ain't like that yet, okay? How did you position yourself, or how did you get to a point, or what was the thing that you did to be like, you know what, just talk? Because I think for me, I'll put myself in those positions. I even told myself last year, that's why I said 2024, I was a bum. Yeah. Last year, I told myself that I was going to go to these events, and I'll go and I'll stand in the corner and I'm like, well,
at least
I was here for an hour, time to go. Ain't give a one business card. The only person that talked to me was co-check to take my coat. Like, how do you push yourself to like actually say, hey, how are you? This is what how do you do that?
One thing I will give everybody advice on, and it's something that I've learned early on.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Not a single person. Everybody is going into these situations almost thinking the same way and pushing out a false sense of confidence, right? Because they feel like that's what they have to do. And once I figured out, like I went to a conference in Toronto, it was called the RMAs, the Rental Marketing Awards.
Okay.
I went there by myself. My work pushed me to go. It was a day thing. I hopped on a flight from Ottawa to Toronto that same day, sat at a table with a bunch of strangers, didn't say a word. It was time to get up to go get your food. You know how awkward that could be.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was like sitting beside this man that kept talking to me, and I'm like getting annoyed because I'm like, I'm not trying to talk.
Yeah.
Anyways, comes to find out that he was getting information out of me on what I did for Ottawa and the apartment rental industry and etc. Why was I at this conference, right? I did not know who I was speaking to. It was I think, co-owner of the entire event.
Oh, that's crazy.
So the next year they invited me to be a keynote speaker.
Oh, that's crazy.
So when I felt that energy, I'm like, you don't know who you're talking to.
That's
you don't
true.
know who you're going to meet. You don't know. And I think that was my opening to understanding that sometimes it's not about what you're saying or how you say it. It's just about saying anything. Hi, how are you? This is what I do. Even if it's awkward, it's like, okay, at least you did it, because the more you do it, the more you practice, the more it just becomes like you're riding a bike. It's second nature. It's awkward and it's hard.
Can we not just go back to the days where people would see you in public and then they message you after, like, I think I just saw you.
I think I still do that. You did not see me in public, but hey, I think I saw you. It's like, oh, that was you.
Yeah, I missed it. And then you just have the whole conversation on social media, and you never got to see them.
We need to hang out soon, sure.
No problem.
2 years goes by. We
literally, 100%. And then when you need me, though, I'm going to be here for you.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, but you know what? As a real estate agent, Venesha, you have to, you got to find that in
I'm a
yourself.
phone girl.
Yeah.
You get me on the phone, you would have thought we've known each other for years. Okay. Like, there's people I've gone on the phone with, and I'm like, what you cooking? Yeah. They're like, oh, this. They're like, oh, you didn't even invite me. And they're like, wait, who are you? And I'm like, oh, it's me, blah, blah. I, on the phone, am great. Okay. But the thing is once I build that, not that reputation, once I build that, what do you call that? Like, relationship with the person through the phone, meeting you, at that point, you're family.
You're good.
Like, you're my family. Right. You don't know it yet, but you're my lost cousin.
Right.
You're family. But to just be in front of someone and then do that same thing, I think it's the facial expressions, because I can see if if you like me or not.
You're over analyzing the situation. You're wondering what they're thinking about
100%.
you. This and that. So you have to now pretend that you're on the phone then, while you're in front of these people, and like understand that it's just your brain tricking you. Like they're probably thinking the same thing of you. You know what I mean? And once you get to that point where you understand that, hey, this is an opportunity for both of you to meet each other and get comfortable with each other, that 5 minutes, all you need is just like 2 to 5 minutes. Talk, and then you'll see how easy it is. Maybe 2 minutes is a little long, but you know what I mean?
I know. I was about to be like, shoot.
Yeah, but it's easy. Once you start doing it, like, it just happens. There's days where I can't do it. I will go to these same events and I'll be filled with so much anxiety that I will just like stay in the corner and like don't do anything. But then there's other days where, they're serving champagne. Knock it down, go out on the floor. And
because then I would just be saying anything.
It's easy.
Like, you know your toupee's lifting?
Okay, no, you got to calm down. No,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't.
Okay, don't drink. No drinks for her.
I can't be, because I would literally, I would just get awkward. I get
Yeah.
very awkward.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm working
have to
on.
be more out of your head.
Yes.
And more in, the present moment.
And that's one of my biggest struggles is
Yeah.
I'm always in my head. Like anyone that knows me knows like Venesha does not live in the present. Venesha lives either in the past or the future.
No,
I don't live
but
in
the past is gone. And the future hasn't even
I
happened.
know, but I think about the past and how to make my future better. It's
But
how
the past it doesn't exist.
I know. And it's that's just
Right.
my brain.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm working on
gotta
to
get through
live
that.
in the present.
Correct.
But when I get in front of people, I'll start thinking about things that happened in the past. Like, oh, remember when this happened? Or what if this happens again? Or, oh, what if this happens? And then blah, blah, and then they don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just need to enjoy what's happening.
In church, they call
now.
that the devil.
The devil's a lie?
The devil is a liar.
The devil is a lie.
You
But
have to learn to just calm your mind and just
Yeah.
stay present and just know, like I said, everyone does, like, there's majority of people do not know what they're doing. Everyone's just winging it. Everyone's just out here trying to do something for the first time or
Yeah.
thinking that they know what they're doing, but they really don't. And that's how everybody is operating. And I learned that being in the corporate world for this long. I'm like, nobody actually knows what they're doing. Everyone's just doing things.
and we all just trying to get to the same end goal.
It's like, okay, and what? When you get where you think you're going, what happens?
Then you have a new destination.
Like, there's always something new to get at. So
Yeah.
it's like when I start understanding that, everybody is just kind of new at everything. And
Yeah.
even though you've been in an industry for 30 plus years, do you really know what you're doing? You know what I mean? You're just kind of going with whatever flow that is being given to you.
Yeah.
And yes, you have knowledge and all that stuff, but like, we're all just kind of figuring it out.
No, you're right. You're right. I just need, yeah, you're right.
So on our next show, we'll be a little bit more structured, but I like this conversation.
It was
I
good.
just like keeping it to a realness level where it's like we're just talking. You know what I mean? And I think for me, that's how I learn and I grow with people, is just like kind of learning what it is that makes you Venesha.
Yeah.
And, how is it in your world? How are you, kind of maneuvering and finding everything that you're going through? And you kind of like said some things that make me kind of appreciate you a little bit more. And it's like, wow, this girl's out here. Like, there's so much that we don't know that what happens in everybody's life behind the scenes, right? So that's why it's important to just be kind, be patient, and just, stick to whatever you're trying to do with grace.
Yeah.
And if there's anything else that you feel that our listeners should take away with them,
Stay in your lane.
yeah, stay in your lane.
I would say like that's one thing I've learned in this. You will get caught up with what everyone else is doing. Just stay in your lane, keep your head forward, and just trust the process.
Yeah, I
Trust
agree.
what you're going through is what you're supposed to go through.
Yeah. And I agree too. And I would pretty much say the same thing. I think for young entrepreneurs, for real estate agents that are looking to get into this world or feeling even discouraged, I feel like it's about keeping the prize in your head. Like, why did you start this? And, the goal is not meant to get to easily. And if it is, it's not going to last. So it's like, you got to build those stepping stones, that foundation, and just stay strong.
Yep.
Stay true.
I agree. Period.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Until our next episode. I don't know what it's called yet, but yeah.
Stay true.
Stay true.